Hey guys, we are on an adventure today. We're going to a lorikeet rescue, or is it an overall rescue that specializes in lorikeets? So Mel, tell them what we're doing, and I know you're driving, so happy multitasking.
So yes, I'm not actually going to look at the camera because I'm looking at the road. But
good.
Basically, rescues aren't a big thing here in Australia. We haven't needed them heaps before this, and now they're starting to have to pop up. We're going to a rescue called Kiwi's Rescue. These guys tend to get a lot of lorikeets because they're probably one of the most surrendered birds we see here, and they keep coming back even when they get rehomed. So we're going to go visit Lisa and see what she's dealing with. She's got other birds there as well. It's not just lorikeets, unfortunately. So yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited to learn more about lorikeets. Mel has been broadening my spectrum on lorikeets, but in the US they don't seem to be as popular as they are here. Obviously you guys have them in the wild, so that's the first thing that makes them more popular here. But also they have a specialized diet, which we will get into probably in a separate video to keep it, you know, specific for you guys. But I'm just excited to learn more about them. So if you have questions about lorikeets that we don't answer in this video, please leave them in the comments and I will try to make a second part to answer those for you guys. If you ever wanted an Indian ringneck, this is the sound they make. Awesome. Pleasant. So beautiful.
Competition now.
Woo!
Kiwi was the first bird that we owned. Yeah, I used to take her with me to the wildlife rescue where I would volunteer. There's not a whole lot of rescues around. There's not a whole lot of domestic bird rescues around. A lot of domestic birds kept getting turned into the wildlife rescue. I started off just bringing a few home, but then it just became bigger and bigger and bigger until we decided we needed a whole domestic bird department. So I headed up the domestic bird department. Before they go into the homes though, we do PPFD testing and chlamydia testing, or we just automatically treat for chlamydia. And then if they need any surgeries or they have any underlying health conditions, we address those first. We also convert them to proper diets. We take them off their seed diets and convert them onto a combination of pelleted diet and a chopped diet. So most birds, once they get onto the chopped diet, they'll eat mostly the chop, and then the pellets are more of a supplement. Then we can use, then seed becomes a high reward, and seed can be used for training and bonding, and the new owners can use that to start teaching their new bird.
I'm freaking out because I absolutely love this. I'm like, yay! I love it. Cool.
Part of the adoption too is we go through and educate them on proper ownership. They get microchipped. So anything larger than a budgie and a lovebird gets microchipped. part of the adoption is they pay for a health check, because we want all owners to understand that health checks are very important for birds, just as they are with cats and dogs, and that they should get that initial health check when you first bring them in, but they should also continue to get health checks every year. One reason too is because birds hide illness. The first bird in the wild in the flock that looks sick is the first one that gets picked off and eaten. So because of that, they still have that in the home. They will hide their illness, and when they look sick, they're really sick, and it could be too late by the time they look sick. So you have to really, really be careful. And I teach the new owners how to watch the poo and know all the components of the poo and what the poo should look like. And they watch behavior and eating, and for being like fluffed up or anything like that, and how to handle the bird as far as not creating the wrong type of bond with your bird, because you want to keep your bird with a friendship bond and not to accidentally create a sexual bond with your bird.
Oh, I love this. I'm so happy right now. This is so refreshing.
And that they're the only bird that there's a bird looking in the window.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I found you, Mom.
I knew you were here somewhere. So I don't know much about lorikeets, so I would love for you to just kind of share your experience and why are they the majority? Because I noticed it's mostly lorikeets.
There's a lot of lorikeets in rescue.
Why do you think that people are getting them and then immediately giving up on them? What makes them so difficult?
They're very plucky. They're just very plucky. They're known as the clowns of the bird world.
Yes.
So people fall in love with their playfulness.
Yes.
And they fall in love with their colors and their ability to talk. But then when they get them home, they realize they're not as equipped or not as willing to put up with some of the other things that come along with having a lorikeet.
Yeah.
And those things are messy poos, because they're on a nectar diet.
Okay.
So of the birds, lorikeets are nectar eaters. So they eat nectar and fruit and veg. And the nectar comes on with a lot of water. If you can feed it dry or you can feed it wet, but either way, there's a lot of water intake. And so since there's so much water intake, they're very messy poos, and they tend to hit the walls. The poo goes everywhere. Poos.
Yes. So I have a Toco Toucan.
Oh yeah.
And he has like a 70% fresh fruit diet. It's like non-citrus, no greens or anything like that. But he also gets a pellet, so it makes it a little bit easier. But still, that fruit diet, I know what you're talking about, where it's like exactly what you fed because it's splattered like paint.
Yes.
All over. Yeah. So and everything's sticky. So. Do people get lorikeets understanding the diet and understanding that it's not just like a cute little budgie poo, but it's actually a splatter down your arm or a splatter on the wall? Do you think that they get that knowledge when they first get them, or do you think that's something that kind of hits them in the face?
I think they get it, but don't quite understand the amount.
They underestimate.
They underestimate.
Did you do this? Was it you? I think it might have been you. I think you got my handbag. Yeah.
All the other birds that have the little solid poos, those things stick to everything and are hard to come off.
True.
So the other component is they love to scream for fun.
So that's the noise you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or does it get louder?
That's just a happy one. That's not screaming.
That's normal.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
the happy one.
That's fun when they do that in your ear though.
That's one you'll enjoy. So they like to just sit and scream just for fun sometimes. And they're not being bad. They're not even trying to get your attention half the time. They're just screaming because they're happy. They can be bitey.
Oh my gosh.
They are wrestling.
I know.
You see why we love them?
Is that pretty typical lorikeet play?
They're very playful. Some people, though, you do have to grow tough hands, though, because see him biting?
Yeah.
But he's only playing. But there are fixes to these things.
Yeah.
To me, lorikeets are actually the hardest to pair up.
Oh, okay.
So I see that happen a lot, where people go out and get a second lorikeet and they don't want anything to do with each other.
What kind of characteristics are just really specific to lorikeets? Like I have a lot of experience with pretty much any other type than a lorikeet, but what would you tell me if I was like, oh yeah, I got experience with other parrots? What do you think would really surprise me by working with a lorikeet?
I tell people they're very oral. They love to lick. So they're always licking everything. They wanna.
All right, I'm out.
They're licking your cheeks. They're licking your. They'll spend lots of time just running their tongue down your hair, all the strands of your hair.
Why?
And they can do it for like hours. They explore that way, but they're also taking care of you.
Interesting. So they lick each other in the wild as well, or
they preen each other in the wild. Since we don't have the feathers, they do the best they can with us. And they preen our hair and lick our face and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, licking. No, I'm out. Okay, you talked me out of it. Okay, but what else? Because that was really interesting. I wouldn't have known that.
They're very playful. There are certain birds that will do this, but lorikeets are really big for rolling over on their back and playing.
Yes.
So they love to just play. They, like I said, they're known as the clowns of the bird world, so they're constantly want to play. I always tell people if they want to get a toy for a lorikeet, they love shiny, jingling things.
Okay. Familiar with like black-headed kayaks?
Yeah, the kayak is the most similar personality to a lorikeet.
Okay, I was just going to ask you that because it sounds like a lot of things are kind of like parallel with that. So with the kayaks and the playfulness, I kind of feel like when people go that route because they see the cute videos online.
Yeah.
And it's like hopping and all those things, and I'm sure they see the lorikeets being really, really playful. I feel like they want that, but they want it for about 5 minutes, and then the fact that they're like that maybe all the time is a little too much. So is there a time where lorikeets kind of chill out, calm down, you know, that middle of the day, they're roosting, anything, or is it like high energy?
They are high energy, and they do like to, they will want to spend time with you all the time. So when they're not playing, they're going to be licking you. Okay, so they want to be with you all the time. They want to always be doing something.
All right, I've talked out of lorikeets.
So if you treat your bird like a trait crane.
Awesome talking, guys.
If you treat your bird like a freight train.